Minneapolis and St. Paul, for those of you that don't know me. Today, I want to cover sellers. Do you know what the buyers are looking for? Because if you're a home seller or you're thinking about selling your home and you don't have an answer to this, you need to know, because it could make the difference in whether you sell your home or not. There's a lot of different factors that are going to fall into this. But first thing I want to say is that every market is different. What's going on right now in early 2023 is completely different than what was going on in early 2022 and the past year before that. We had a real big shift over the last 6 months of 2022 because of inflation, interest rates, all of these different things. The upside for a seller is we still have a very low inventory and we have a housing shortage. According to a lot of national experts, we're anywhere from 7 to 10 million houses shy of meeting demand. So the only thing that's slowing things down right now, other than weather and time of year, is interest rates, which are now starting to stabilize as all of the inflation is starting to come down. All of these things I talk about more in other videos, so please feel free to go to my YouTube channel or go to my Facebook page, Tom Summers, Coldwell Banker, and you can get information. But today I just want to talk about this because for many last several years, the sellers were in the driver's seat. Now the buyers are in the driver's seat, even though it's not quite a buyer's market yet. It's important to understand what it is they're looking for. So I'm going to just go over a few things for you quickly to give you some idea. The main three things that they are looking for is they want a clean home, one that's well cared for, that doesn't smell like smoke, that doesn't have dirt on the walls, that doesn't have dirty stained carpet, clean floors, decluttered, not a lot of stuff on the countertop. A lot of you might be sitting there listening going, well, that's just ridiculous because it's obvious that that's what they want. But you'd be amazed at how many people miss that message when they've listed their house. So you really want to make sure that your house is as clean as possible and as organized and as clutter-free as possible, because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So that starts with the listing piece of it in your photos and your descriptions, and that's more for another day for details, but just to give you a basic overview of things. Secondly, they want updates. A lot of the younger people or the first-time home buyers, they just don't want to do updates. A lot of them don't have the skills to do it because they've never tried, even though it's really easy to paint a wall. There's a lot of people who just don't want to do it. So you want to make sure that you have updates. I'm not saying go out and spend $50,000 to put in new counters and cabinets, all of these things, only to have someone reject you by saying it's not what they want. But it doesn't mean that you can't take what you own right now and make it look its very best. Third, and maybe most important, is they want the house repaired. They don't want to go in knowing that the roof is 30 years old and could leak. They don't want a house that has a furnace that's 25 years old, because the first thing they're going to think is, okay, great, it's going to break and now it's going to be my problem. I'm not suggesting that you replace the roof. I'm not suggesting that you replace the furnace, but you have to address it. Some of the things you can do is you can have an inspector out to check the roof to make sure that it is in proper working order, that you don't have any issues with shingles curling up or breaking off, or issues with flashing or leaking. With a furnace, you have a technician come out, from CenterPoint Energy to certify that the furnace right now is in proper working order and it's clean and well cared for. A lot of that can go a very far way in making a buyer feel comfortable. These are things that you need to consider. There's a lot of discussion amongst my friends as well as clients about the reality of real estate. I had a conversation yesterday with my friend Marty and his lovely wife Deb about what people are looking for, what buyers are specifically looking for, and what they are buying and what they're not. And Marty was really surprised to learn one of the things I shared with him that I'm going to share with you right now. Let's say you took two houses that were identical in far as amenities, year built, neighborhood, all that. They're literally next to each other. So let's use a Rambler with 2,000 square feet. Number one, grandma and grandpa or a couple or person has been living there for 30 years. The roof is only a year or two old. The windows had been replaced at one point from the originals because the house was built in the 50s. The siding is in really good condition, and the furnace, AC, and all of the other mechanicals, including appliances, are all in great working order. But it hasn't been updated in 25 or 30 years. But it's clean, it's extremely well cared for, it's clutter free, and it's just dated looking, meaning that maybe it's oak cabinets or the countertop is Formica, whatever the case might be. The house next door to it needs a brand new roof, brand new siding, and it needs new windows. The furnace is 25 or 30 years old, but the people living in the second home put in a brand new refrigerator, new countertops, and did all white woodwork and gray walls. In the past, more often than not, the second house will sell at a 4 or 5 to 1 ratio or even higher over the first one. Although I would argue that the first one's a better deal because the most expensive things have been taken care of and cared for. Now we're starting to see a shift where the buyers want both. Not only do they want the updates, they also want all of those other things repaired. They're not going to pay you extra money because you put a new roof on, because they're going to say, well, the roof should be in good working order, and they had their insurance company pay for it. So we're not going to give you an extra $25,000 or $30,000 for the house just because it has a newer roof. It adds value, and it's going to be the thing that maybe will get someone to write an offer on your house before they write an offer on one that needs a new roof in the next 5 years. You can't fix everything. You can't please everyone. But what you have to do is you have to make the effort to make it look as nice and updated as you possibly can. So let's say you don't want to put in new countertops or new appliances. That's okay. Then at least do some cleaning and some painting and some organizing. But I would say to you, consider newer appliances just simply because at the end of the day, you're talking $5,000 roughly for some new appliances that could gain you that $5,000 or more in the value and sale of your home on top of a shorter market time, because people are more inclined to purchase your home because they feel better about it. You can't make the assumption that if something as small as the cabinet door under the sink is loose and falling, or one of the drawers is jammed, that won't be enough of a difference for buyers to walk. I've seen buyers as of recent literally walk over small little items that could easily be repaired by a handyman or a contractor. Same thing with pricing. There are people who set a budget for themselves that they won't go over this number when they're looking. So even though they could afford more, they won't look at a house that's worth more than X. But if they come into a house that they love, that they get into a bidding war with, they'll easily pay more for it than they would have ever looked at it if it was at that price. So these are just some of the things that you need to think about if you're going to sell your home to have success. And the only way to set yourself up for success and get your home sold in a reasonable amount of time, along with all the marketing and all the other things that play out with the sale of home, you have to be very conscientious about what you're doing and how that buyer is going to perceive your home. One of the things I recommend you do is have your real estate agent sit down with you and not only look at the solds to figure out your pricing, but look at the houses that are currently active. That would be your competition. And also look at some of the homes that just recently pended that would have been your competition, and take a look at the ones that sold that are under contract now versus the ones that are sitting on the market and have been for 90, 100 days. Normal market is 90 plus days, but some of these buyers have it so into their head over these last 2 years that if the house hasn't sold in a week, there's got to be something wrong with it. That's simply not true. But you have a responsibility as a seller to put your best foot forward, do the best marketing that you can, hire the right people, obviously, as your team to get this job done, but be involved and engaged and know that, okay, this color is outdated. We better plan on painting these walls. We better plan on cleaning out extra furniture that we have in rooms that are making it look too small. You have one shot. A lot of these buyers are so judgmental and so fickle that they'll come and look at your house one time and not come back if it isn't ready and up to their standards. And some of them literally will look at the pictures online and never come and see it. So if you think that you can just throw the house up on the market now and you're going to get into a bidding war and people are going to overpay, you might really be disappointed. So please take the time to do the research, make the right decisions, and make your house look its very best because you want to attract those buyers. I know I threw a lot of information out here real quick. There's a lot more to talk about, but I'm trying to keep these videos short. If you have questions, please reach out to me. You can call me, you can email me, however you want, and I'll be more than happy to help you at no obligation. Thank you guys so much for taking time out of your day today to listen to this video. I wish you the best, and I'll see you.